Well, I feel really bad for anybody who was experiencing that live stream before it went dead, but it did go dead. And I had to start a brand new one. I'm Stan Arthur. This is the Stan Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the show. We are live on Facebook right now. If you are watching this podcast from another platform, from YouTube or Rumble or X, it's not live, but we are live on Facebook, so you can go to the Facebook page, which is The Stan Show, typically on any given Monday at 4 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock. We'll figure that out going forward, and you can participate in the live chat. I am here with my ever-present, effervescent co-host, Chevy Millard. How you doing, Chevy?
What's happening, Stan?
Well, it's all good, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You know, it must be fun to be one of these big podcaster guys who has a whole crew working behind the scenes. No, I'm doing it all by myself.
Right.
So the season's over. Yeah. Well, how'd you wrap things up there at Darnell Farms?
It was pretty cool. We actually wrapped it up. What we did was like kind of like a rave dance party hayride for the last 2 nights. We did some hair 80s rock and roll songs, and it was really fun. Had some lasers going and.
Well, it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Well, was that just for the staff?
No, we actually did 2 nights for fully open and everything. We had a bunch of hay rides go out.
Okay, so there was no more Christmas music as of like December 29th or something?
Right, yeah.
Is that right?
Yep, we were done with it.
Okay. Well, that's great. I'll have to, you should let me know those things.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to get out there. And did you have a decent crowd during that time?
Yeah. We stayed pretty busy. We started at 6 and probably didn't get done until about 9:30, and 2 hay rides every few minutes.
Yeah. That's crazy, because I would think that people were going out there for the holiday vibe and they were getting something else.
No, we got some great feedback. Everybody seemed to like it. We're going to try to do it a little bit more next year.
Well, this year. That's the case. That's the case, isn't it? It's like up in the game every year, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what was new this year?
So last year we had only those 2 big Christmas trees out there. Then we built 2 more this year. We put a few more fog machines out there trying to get the forest fogged up, but it's really hard to fog the outdoors with fog machines.
Sure.
But some more lights and everything, up the production, and we're just going to try to up it a little bit more next year.
Well, that'll be great.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Did you get stuck out in the shed very much?
Oh, every night.
Every night. I hoped you get out there driving some of the tractors for the folks.
Not the Christmas one. Next year, see, right now I'm the only one that kind of knows how to run the show.
Yeah.
So next year I'm hoping to train a person so I can get it some time.
Well, I guess the old scripture is to he who has much shall be required.
Yeah.
And so that, that's the curse of knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, I enjoy it though.
You're going to be the one that gets stuck out there in the cold shack running the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how's your health? You doing all right?
Yeah, I got sinus issues, but that's because we go from freaking 70 degrees to 30 degrees to 60. It doesn't even know what it wants to do.
How about this weather right now?
Jeez.
It's t-shirt weather outside right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was a beautiful day yesterday.
And it was just freezing this morning. We actually had frost overnight.
Yeah.
And it's upwards of 60s, upper 60s now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
It messes with my head.
I'm just walking around outside a little bit. And we've had days, in this area where we'll have 40-degree temperature swings.
Right. Yeah.
If it can be 28 in the morning, it can be, 68 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
Yeah. Well, and this is gonna be a very mild week. The whole week's gonna be mild like this. It's gonna get a little colder the following week.
Yeah.
Not like 10 degrees colder.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
I love snow, so I'm hoping for snow at some point.
Yeah. Well, that'll be interesting to see if it works out that way. It's they originally had predicted a pretty brutal winter for us. Yeah. It just didn't happen. They had that very early cold spell.
Yeah.
Where we actually had a dusting of snow, but yeah.
I know. It seemed that their predictions have yet to be normal or good so far.
Yeah, I guess the train is shut down now. Is that right?
It's probably shut down for the next couple months. I think March or April they start to come back.
Yeah, right.
But they get the cars fixed up and everything.
I think they start doing one trip a day in April.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that, but
yeah.
Still got to go down there and apply for that Sasquatch job.
Yeah.
Do that this year. I might need to be earning some money soon. So yeah, had to cancel the podcast last week. Second time in 2 months that I've had to cancel the podcast due to illness. But that's the way it is when you've got a 4-year-old granddaughter running around who picks up every single German school and brings it home.
Oh yeah.
I don't go anywhere. I stay home about 99% of the time.
Right.
I don't go out at all. My wife goes out, does the shopping and whatever else needs to happen. But I stay home, man. I stay up here in the studio puttering around 8 hours a day.
Right.
And I don't get out much. Sometimes do some work around the house, but in the winter there's not much that can be done around the house. The grass isn't growing.
Right.
The trees aren't growing. There's not a lot going on, so that's the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I got good and sick this time. I had the flu.
Oh joy.
And the flu is terrible because you get the headache along with everything else. You get the pounding headache going along with that.
Right.
I stayed in bed for 5 days.
Jeez.
I really stayed in bed, and that I knew I was sick on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And I knew I was sick on Christmas Eve, and by the end of Christmas Day, I'm like, "Yep, I'm staying in bed tomorrow."
Yeah.
And then that was 5 days in bed.
Jeez,
it was no fun. Went through about 3 boxes of Kleenex.
Yeah.
And had to do my nasal irrigation thing, one of those Navage things.
Oh, yeah.
I got a cheaper version, it costs half the price, and it works really well.
Right.
But I was doing that every day, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was really brutal. And tried different medication, a little over-the-counter medications, stuff. Nothing really works.
Right.
There was one that helped me sleep better at night, so I did that. But nothing else really works. You just got to wait them out.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do about it.
Right.
Well, that's the personal news. We are live on Facebook. If any of those Facebook group people like Rants and Raves or Bryson City Local or Word of Mouth, if any of y'all want to chime in with your questions, please do in the chat. I hope that you'll participate, because we love it when people do that. You could change the whole direction of this podcast if you had some little tasty tidbit of something. Have you had any more news on the Fight Club situation?
Nope, haven't heard a thing.
Well, we're back in school now.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll clamp down on that. What do you think?
I'm not really sure, because you had the superintendent. He put in his resignation, so he's done after this year. It's just hard to tell. Sometimes they just kind of the news move. I say a news cycle has usually got about 2 to 3 day lifespan, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
And then after that, we just move on. So.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Are you going to take any further action if you sense that nothing's happened?
I'm gonna talk to a couple of people on the school board and see what's going on, and then I've been talking to the town alderman, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna kind of help me out and see where it's kind of going and everything. So we'll see.
Bryson City or Swain County?
I believe it's Bryson City.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
See what happens there. All right. Well, let's move on. Got that all taken care of. How about that crazy Venezuelan situation, huh?
Dude, that's something else.
Yeah, I just keep seeing all these Democrats on X with their hair on fire about it.
Yeah.
And you try to point things out to them, and they're just not having it, man.
Yeah.
But every single president, every single one since the 40s, since Truman, every single president has invaded another country.
Yep.
Every one of them. They didn't bitch and moan this bad when Bush in the Iraq thing, which was a total farce.
Oh, yeah.
It was a complete farce.
Yeah.
And then, there was Afghanistan for 20 freaking years. Another war we can't win. Just more lives
Yeah.
lost.
Oh, yeah.
And all for what?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, Trump comes and he's like surgical action, get in, get out, and got Maduro. And, I heard he pled not guilty today.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and everybody's all up in arms like, well, no war in Iraq. No war in Iraq. There's no war in Iraq. At least they're accurate. There is no war in Iraq.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Venezuela.
Right.
Sorry, lady. Boomer brain cells, once again, not helping me out here. No war in Venezuela. There is no war in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to run Venezuela now? Well, we are. This as long as it takes to get the election happening and get an actually duly elected, president in Venezuela. He did it for the oil. He did it for the oil. Well, there's something to that, but it's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
He did it for the oil. Well, it's not our oil. It's Venezuelan oil. It'll never be America's oil to buy and sell in trade. It's never going to be that. But what it will do, I don't know if you had heard, but oil production in Venezuela was down to 3% of capacity under Maduro.
Yeah.
3% of capacity. And I'm sure Trump fully intends to get it up to 100% capacity. And that will be sold by Venezuela.
Yeah.
And the Venezuelans are going to see a whole new golden age of prosperity just from that oil being sold by Venezuela. And I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. They were partying in the streets in Caracas, and like, well, that's just, they don't know what they're doing. I have a feeling they do. I think they know exactly what they're doing. I do feel that there was something else involved. I feel that the whole voting machine fiasco was involved as well.
Yeah.
Because those voting machines are all made in Venezuela.
Yeah.
You talk about smart, what's it called? Smart vote, or I can remember smart vote. There's Dominion and smart something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're all made in Venezuela, and they were designed to cheat.
Right.
Those voting machines were designed to cheat. We have whistleblowers from Venezuelan intelligence and all that. They've corroborated everything. They've made sure that the information got out that this is how he was rigging his own elections.
Yeah.
Smartmatic, that's what it's called.
Okay.
Smartmatic and Dominion. And so I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because Trump still feels robbed over the 2020 election.
Right.
I'm not going to say one way or the other. But I will say that I think we needed 4 more years of a president like Biden before Donald Trump could come back in, and which he was very naive in his first 4 years. Very, very naive. Half the people on his staff were working against him.
All right.
He goes and hires people like Christopher Wray to be the FBI director. The guy's freaking deep state inside. He's the guy who ordered the raid on Mar-a-Lago. He was no friend of Donald Trump, and everybody knows it. But they like to say, oh, well, it was Donald Trump's FBI that you're talking about all these operatives in the crowd at January 6th and all that. That was Donald Trump's FBI. Well, okay. You can say that. But again, you had half of his organization, half of his administration was working against him.
Right.
And it just is what it is. But that is not happening this time. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things going like clockwork right now in that organization. And, he's always going to surprise you with what he's going to do. I think that this year, 2026 is going to be a watershed year for him, for Trump, as a lot of things start taking hold that were, the groundwork was laid last year. And I think it's very interesting that Dan Bongino has left the FBI.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take him to crank his show back up, but probably not too long. Probably, because I know he missed it terribly, along with his wife and children, missed them terribly. But that's interesting. I wonder if we'll get any inside information out of that. Probably not, because he's a loyalist, and he's not going to tell any tales out of school or anything like that. But and then of course today we find out that Tim Walz has stepped out of the governor's race.
I hadn't seen
in
that.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he shut his campaign down. He said, as long as we got all this going on, I can't focus on campaigning, and so I'm dropping out of the governor's race. And did you see it? You know who Nick Shirley is?
Yeah, I've seen all that. Yeah.
Have you seen his videos?
I've seen some of it.
Well, there's one main video.
Yeah.
But today after Walz announced today, Nick Shirley goes on Twitter. He puts in all caps, "I ended Tim Walz." Yeah, that post needed a lot of community moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Still got that nagging cough hanging on and all that. I think before this is over, there's going to be massive amounts of fraud that have been uncovered in Minnesota, also in Ohio, because a good part of the Somali population ended up in Ohio doing the same exact things that they were doing in Minnesota. Also in Virginia, I had learned, and I did not know this, but I understand that a lot of the Somalian refugees ended up going to Virginia first before they went to Minnesota. And Minnesota actually laid out an invitation, like, come to Minnesota.
Right.
And many, obviously 20,000 of them did. But they were originally going from Virginia. And then you have a group that ended up in Ohio, and they're talking about that now. They're talking about doing very significant forensic research into where the money's going in Ohio. And at the same time, we're getting wind that the fraud in California under Gavin Newsom is somewhere between 50 billion and 100 billion, which is not going to bode well for him in his bid for the presidency.
Yeah.
But another reason why I think that 2026 is going to be a watershed year. I don't know that you claw any of that money back, but they've shut down all of the financial aid to both child care and to home health services. You see that one building in Minneapolis, it turned out had over 40 home health care businesses in it, and none of them were open. Nah. Not one of them was open doing business.
That's crazy.
Just a front. They actually had offices in this one big office building. None of them were active. Not one of them. So how are you feeling about that? All of that?
I'm not really sure.
As a taxpayer, how are you feeling about it?
Well, the healthcare stuff is definitely hurting. My wife's premiums went up like crazy. But
she on the affordable health care plan?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I mean, it's the ones that the Republicans just voted in too. And like a buddy of mine, his premiums for his family went up so much they couldn't afford it. They had to get off, so they don't have insurance at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'm sure millions of Americans are in the same place.
So that's where I'm kind of, yet again, I'm kind of confused because they say they were going to try to fix it and everything. The whole thing of the first term was repeal and replace.
Yeah.
Then it become, okay, we'll just Band-Aid it. And now we're just going to, I don't even know Band-Aid's the right word. They're just,
if there is not a fix for the healthcare system in this country, it's not going to bode well for Republicans on the midterm.
Yeah.
It absolutely is not going to bode well at all.
Yeah.
I think that with your no tax on tips, no tax on seniors, Social Security, and all that, which is not exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
From what I've been finding out.
Yeah, it's because it's up to a certain amount.
Right. My wife and I are on Social Security now. It's the only income we have currently. I've got an iron in the fire there. I've had it in there for 3 years, and that hopefully is coming to fruition very soon now. But been working for a company out of San Diego for about 3 years.
Yeah.
With a man who I've known for over 40 years. But brilliant man, brilliant products, all AI stuff.
Right.
Mostly having to do with television and the movies. AI applications for streaming television that would completely change the face of streaming TV, but I just don't know. I don't know how you get it in there, but I do know that there are now about 4 different companies who are champing at the bit to buy the company.
Right.
So, and less said about that, the better right now, because you don't want to screw anything up by talking about it.
Right.
But that would be great for Karen and me. We would be set for life at the end of that. Because part of the impetus for getting involved was that we were given shares in the company,
right?
And so it just depends on how that all shakes out. But I've been working for, uncompensated almost the entire time,
right?
But it's not a lot of work, but it's very precise work and video creation and all that. Like 7 or 8 different AI products, media-oriented products, and it's all cool stuff.
Right.
I imagine that a company coming in would be interested in 1 or 2 of them,
right?
2 of those products. But to buy the company outright would be a great thing. So
right.
we'll see what happens there. Some very, very big names involved there.
There you go.
Extremely big names involved there. So we'll see. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed and stay faithful. And
absolutely.
And we'll see what happens there. Well, I wanted to show you something I don't think you're aware that I have. You remember me talking about my friend Glenn Quiggins.
Mm-hmm.
And Glenn Quiggins lives on the edge of the Daniel Boone Forest, very close to Berea, Kentucky.
Right.
And a couple of months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I had gone there and done kind of what I called a UFO trip.
Right.
Because they get UFOs over their house every single night.
Okay.
Every night. So I did. I came back with some cool footage of a glowing orb that was multicolored, changing colors in the sky and all that. And at the same time, that same evening, I saw a whole bunch of what I just called fast movers, which were much smaller objects that were moving across the sky. They were not satellites. They were very fast moving, very small pinpoints of light, and not always going in a straight line, not going east to west like you would expect from a satellite. Some going north to south and every which direction.
Right.
I saw somewhere between 15 and 20 of those. Couldn't photograph them because they were just not bright enough in the sky. But with the naked eye, you could sure see them.
Right.
And not going in a straight line, some curving around, some disappearing. Just like, you catch it, you watch it for a couple of minutes, and it just fades out, goes away. So, let's see, what's today? Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, Glenn had an encounter outside with a triangle UFO.
Okay.
And it's not the first time.
Right.
And he said, but the triangle, all these other ones tend to happen from sundown and for a few hours, like maybe till 10 o'clock and all that. And then it slows down. But you get a lot of these glowing orbs hovering over the Daniel Boone Forest.
Right.
Doesn't know why. The area is rich in quartz, and they may be powering it up. They may be doing whatever. Who knows? Who knows what they're doing?
Right.
No clue what they're doing. And they come out and they stay stationary. Sometimes they wiggle around a little bit, or they'll drift one way or the other a little bit. But for the most part, they stay stationary, and they're right there, and they're very bright, much brighter than the stars, and they're changing colors. They're probably pretty high up, depending on the size of the orb. I would say these things are probably 500 feet in the air. Now, he took video of the triangle craft. He sent it to me so I could enhance it, because he doesn't have the best quality video equipment. So I did enhance this, and I'm going to blow it up here a little bit. And this has no sound to it, but as we start playing this, you're going to see that you say, well, where's the triangle? Well, you can really see the triangle if you look closely. Now, I had put this in here to show the shape of the triangle here. And it's obviously it's one of those triangles that has like a great big light in the middle of it,
right.
in the middle of the bottom of it. But he said this was out for about an hour. And this was high altitude. This was definitely up there, maybe 15, maybe 20,000 feet. It was hanging up out there. And pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely a triangle. You know, the ones I saw in St. Pete were triangles.
Right.
And just traveling very, very quickly from the south to the north over my house. And very black, and it was a dark night. We didn't have a lot of ambient light in our neighborhood, just one street light about a block away.
Right.
But the ambient light was the only reason why I could see these things, because it was kind of reflecting off the bottom of these things. They didn't have any lights on them at all, and they were completely silent, not high altitude, probably 300 or 400 feet in the air, if that.
So it wasn't those stealth planes?
No. Completely silent, utterly silent, and moving one behind the other, just dead silent. And just went, and I turned around and watched them go into the northern sky until I couldn't see them anymore. The whole incident lasted about 20, 25 seconds at the most. But yeah, I saw them for sure. So there's that. So what do you think? What do you think about UAP? What do you think about disclosure that's just keeps kind of creeping up on us? I did watch the Age of Disclosure new documentary that's out.
Yeah.
James Fox one. And no, it wasn't James Fox, it was another guy. But it made me go back and see what else had come out recently, because I wasn't very impressed with it, other than the fact that you had some very big time people in there talking about it.
Right.
Marco Rubio, James Clapper, who I don't know if you know who he is, but he was somebody during the Obama administration who lied a whole bunch in front of Congress
right.
about spying on Americans and all that. But no, Clapper was laying it out there. It's like, these things exist, and I know more than I can tell you.
Right.
And that's coming straight from one of the big intelligence guys. So I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments, because I've been following UFO stuff since I was a kid.
Right.
I didn't have a real live experience with one till about 4 years ago, and which completely caught me off guard, looking for a cat on the roof of my house, and these things come flying over. It's just, wow. But on these warmer evenings coming up in the spring, I'm going to do some stargazing out here, especially since I saw what I saw in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Glenn, I want to get him back as a guest on the show one more time. He's got a lot to talk about. This is a guy who was caught moving pencils around on his desk, I think in 3rd grade or something, with his mind. He thought everybody could do that.
Yeah.
And he got put into a special program when he was a child. CIA, I don't know, but he got put into a special program, and he claims to have been abducted on several occasions as a young man, as from between childhood to young, adolescence, that he was abducted by UFOs. And he doesn't like to talk too much about it, because he's one of these people, who doesn't like being called crazy nut job and all that. He's just the sweetest, kindest, nicest guy. I told you he had this amazing life in L.A. and, hair metal and and even owning his own photography business and modeling agency and out there, all that. But he's firmly retired now.
Yeah.
Living in extremely rural Kentucky, right on the edge of the Daniel Boone Forest. And if it wasn't a 5-hour drive, I'd be going out there a whole bunch to catch more stuff on camera. I would conceivably buy more equipment to get out there and take more professional quality stuff of it.
Right.
But and he's they've had Bigfoot encounters out there in that. I mean, some cool stuff going on out there.
Yeah.
He discovered his own ancient Indian campground out on his own property. He owns 40 acres up there.
Oh wow.
And they came out and excavated the whole thing, and they dated this site back 10,000, 12,000 years old. And, that completely flies in the face of, previous archaeological discoveries where they claim that these sites are only a few thousand years old.
Right.
2, 3, maybe 4,000 years old. That's just nuts.
Right.
It's always been a dream of mine to, if I ever had the wherewithal financially to do it, would be to go to some of these sites in the world. I've always had a thing for Pumu Punku, and the other one that's real close to there, that's like 50 miles away from there, which name just goes out of my head.
Right.
There's Gobekli Tepe, which, wow, what a story that is when you think about it. Gobekli Tepe, which is in Turkey, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've only excavated 10% of it. And they're not planning to excavate any more of it. We'll leave that to future generations. But to think about the size of that complex, if it's ever completely, thoroughly excavated, the size of it, and the fact that the entire city was purposely buried.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Right.
How does that happen? How does that even work? I don't know, but the ancients, man, the ancients sure had some technology that we don't even know what they were using back then. I tend to agree with some of the folks who have speculated about frequencies and being able to find the frequency of an object and to be able to levitate it, to float it through frequencies. And it's just mind-boggling. We will probably never know most of that stuff, including all the Egyptian stuff that's come to light lately with the unbelievable stuff that's under the pyramid, and there's also it's more than that. That's what do they call it? A whole civilization that's underground there that has never been uncovered, but they know where it is.
Right.
But the Egyptians are funny that way.
Yeah.
But they're very cautious about letting anybody go in and dig. But just nutty stuff, crazy stuff. Speaking of nutty, crazy stuff, I've been, our last 2 shows, we talked about the Ethiopian Bible quite a bit. And those 2 shows have been our most watched podcasts on YouTube, especially the last one.
Yeah.
275 something views, which is way above what we normally do.
Right.
We've been getting some good action on Facebook, but YouTube. Now, it's not like nobody's watching the show. I make a whole bunch, 20 to 30 shorts from each show and put them up there. And those get watched thousands of times.
Right.
So people are watching. They just have very short attention spans.
Right.
But when it comes to the Ethiopian Bible, we talked last week about originally we covered the books of Enoch, first Enoch, second Enoch, third Enoch. It takes a long time to get through those things, but you can actually watch them on YouTube. It's just a static picture, but they're reading the text.
Right.
You can do it. And I've been absolutely fascinated by it. And then there is last week we covered, what's the name of that thing? what's the name of that book? Sorry for the delay. We talked about Menelik and the Queen of Sheba and the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, it's called the Kebra Nagast.
Yeah.
We talked about the Kebra Nagast. I'm not sure what that translates to, but that's another one of those ancient texts in the Ethiopian Bible. But I want to talk today about the Book of the Covenant, because this is the one that has all the post-resurrection teachings of Jesus Christ, which Jesus is an English word. I don't know if you knew that, but Jesus' name was Yeshua.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use that more often, I think. Yeshua Christ. So at looking at, excuse me, looking at the Book of the Covenant, it's not quite as controversial as some people might be led to believe through certain videos on YouTube and all that. But it puts the whole concept out there that I guess Gospel of Luke talks about the death and the resurrection,
right,
and the ascension, but there's no detail in regard to what happened between his resurrection and his ascension. And the Book of the Covenant says, well, there was a whole 40-day period in there where Jesus taught the disciples during that time. And this teaching was a little more hardcore,
right,
than what had occurred before he was put to death. And we're talking about things like his initial appearance and his continuing new apocalyptic revelations, talking about the end of days. And it now, like the Gospels were familiar with, Jesus rose and appeared to Thomas, Matthew, a couple others. Appears to Martha and Mary, his mother Mary, Salome. Were all included as witnesses to the resurrection of Christ. There's a word here that I don't know. I hate to admit. Eschatological warnings. Eschatological. Yep, don't know what that means. Anybody know? Put it in the comments. I'm going to look that one up. Christ describes what's coming. He's talking about wars, famines, persecutions, false prophets, and cosmic disturbances. Are you aware of how much sun activity we've had?
It's been crazy.
It's been absolutely crazy. So that would be considered a cosmic disturbance. And I'd like to say that we have a whole bunch more comets that we used to, but the truth of the fact is that we just have the ability to detect them far more readily now than we used to.
Right.
So they've always been flying around out there. He urges the wise, the perfect, but the sons of light to endure the wolves, the persecutors. They're rising, emphasizing the need to bear the cross without faltering throughout this time of great persecution that's going to happen. Serious post-baptismal sins allow no repentance except for catechumens. What is a catechumens? I have those preparing for baptism. But he's talking about people like you and me who are born again Christians, believers, saying that serious post-baptismal sins allow no repentance. I had not heard that before. I had not heard of that before. And he's urging the believers to stay firm in your beliefs and your convictions and reflecting a rigorous perfectionist ethic with your spirituality.
Right.
He has some other insights to share. He reveals details about angels and roles in ministering to humanity for the angels, including a structured angelic order, and stresses the importance of charismata, that is the spiritual gifts like prophecy, exorcism, things like that, in the church. Disciples are instructed to embrace virginity for both men and women, though not strictly monastic. Not even sure what he means by that. Also, rigorous fasting, especially for leaders, spiritual leaders, and constant vigilance against worldly temptations.
Right.
So he's kind of setting a tone of urgency here, and like you got to be doing this. You got to listen to me. You got to make this happen. The bulk of the teachings then shift to practical guidance for like establishing and running Christian communities. Forming a church order manual, drawing from earlier traditions like the apostolic tradition, but expanded with unique new elements that Christ is now introducing. Jesus outlines how the church should function, ensuring its resilience. There's a lot here.
Right.
There's an awful lot here. He gives a whole order as to how churches should operate, how they should be built, the shapes of the buildings, all kinds of stuff. Now, all of this was completely and utterly dismissed by the Romans, who chose not to include any of this stuff in their Bible. And we're talking 2nd, 3rd century stuff.
Right.
In Ethiopia. Ethiopia has been completely isolated spiritually. The Orthodox Church, the Christian Church. Ethiopia became a Christian nation before almost any other nation.
Right.
They became a Christian nation. The king of Ethiopia said, we're going to be all about Jesus. In really early on, like the 2nd century. Yeah. So like the latest forensic evidence on these writings has been that they were carbon dated back to sometimes between 330 to 650 AD, as far as the parchment that it was written on, right? But more evidence of all this is the fact that most of these were also found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And have you seen any great shows or videos on the Dead Sea Scrolls?
I've watched some on the Dead Sea Scrolls.
It's amazing what bad shape a lot of them were in.
Yeah. That
they were falling apart.
Yeah.
And a lot of them just, seriously, the parchment was cracking into small pieces.
Yeah.
And that they had to puzzle all this stuff together. It took years to put all this stuff together. And they would put them all together and they would photograph them in a way that would all make sense.
Right.
And all that. But Enoch, Book of the Covenant, that's all in the Dead Sea Scrolls, along with the other Gospels. The Book of Isaiah is unique in the Dead Sea Scrolls, because it's word for word to the text that we had before that,
right? Which
is, wow, it's amazing. It's amazing how they were found.
Yeah.
Right? Just a shepherd, I think.
Yeah, it was an accident. They were in a cave, and a piece of the jar like fallen.
They had these big jars.
Yeah,
they had these huge jars. They were wine vessels, right? Wine vessels, and all these things were rolled and stuffed into these huge wine vessels.
Yeah,
and
that's why they think
one had broken.
Yep,
and you could see what was in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they opened up the others and just found the parchments were falling apart and everything. But yeah, they still think there's more out there, because most of it actually traveled, from people just taking the scrolls and everything.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like some of the Dead Sea Scrolls, I mean, is even way different stuff. Like one, I think they found was like almost like a treasure map
Yeah.
of some sort,
Yeah.
and everything. So I don't know.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. And every time I do one of these things, it never fails that somebody comes into the comments saying, "This is blasphemy, false." I'm like, I'm not claiming any of this to be true.
Right.
Not a bit of it. Not one bit of it to be true or authentic.
Right.
It simply exists.
Yeah.
And when you study the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and its beginnings, and just the fact that they were devoted to Christ long before the rest of the world was, which is awesome.
Right.
It's absolutely, but I think that fact alone makes me want to dig deeper.
Right.
And just learn more. And I'm going to be learning more. I'm going to be listening to more audiobooks about it, watching more videos. Some of these videos, they're not quite right.
Yeah.
And some, they talk about the AI slop and all that. So yeah, be careful what you watch.
Yeah.
And what you believe from what you watch.
Yeah.
These 40 days of teaching by Jesus Christ, there's a lot there. There's a lot to dig into. And a lot of it is just kind of rules and regulations, and this is what you need to be doing. But we've learned a lot about the end of days and what we're going to be facing. I've been talking to a minister in another country. I'm not sure what country it is, but I'm pretty sure it's African. On my Facebook, he actually reached out to me and contacted me. He'd seen our work on the Ethiopian Bible and all that, and he's always full of blessings, and he's right, it's right. Great. I love it. But it'll be just interesting to see how it all comes out, and maybe we'll find out in our lifetime. Maybe we won't. No one knows.
Well, that's the one of the things too. Like, I would say 80% of Israel, you're not even allowed to archaeological dig whatsoever.
Right.
You put a shovel in the ground, you're going to jail.
Right.
So there's so much that's still covered.
The same's true in Egypt.
Egypt. And I mean, it's like also people don't really know is there's pyramids in China.
Yeah.
And everything. And so, I mean, that's like a small unknown fact. And so what is going on with those?
Well, hey man, there's a pyramid on Mars for crying out loud.
It's crazy you brought that up. Did you see there is a 23-year-old girl who is being trained right now to be the first person to step on Mars, and her mission, she will never return, because by the time she gets there, all the rocket fuel and everything, she will not have enough to get back.
Well, it's a 3-year journey, right?
Yep.
3 years.
It's 3 or 4. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. I had seen a layout of one of the, SpaceX, the big one. What do they call it?
Falcon.
The great big one.
I don't know the great big one.
And how it would be laid out, how the thing would be laid out for a mission to Mars.
Yeah.
Because it would be completely different from the way it's laid out now.
Yeah.
It's
kind of crazy. I can't remember her name,
but they're talking about a crew of like 25 going to Mars. Like 25 people going to Mars.
The lady that's going to Mars is referred primarily to Alyssa Carson. She's an American space enthusiast and astronomical student who has been training since childhood for a potential mission to Mars, aiming to want to be the first humans to land on the red planet.
Trained by who?
Yeah. What's the crazy is who made the decision for her? If she's been training since childhood, like, honey, we're going to send you to Mars and you're never coming back.
Would you like to go to Mars? Yeah, it's a lot of dust.
Yeah.
No air.
Right.
Very thin air.
Yeah, apparently it's been her lifelong dream since she was a young child. It's so crazy.
A lot of people theorize that Mars was once a very Earth-like planet.
Yeah.
And that it just dried up and blew away, became a whole Dust Bowl unto itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Through whatever cataclysm.
It's pretty
Who
crazy.
knows?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Don't know. What side of the fence are you on with the moon going to the moon? We did or we didn't?
I would say the way I landed it is I don't believe we landed on the moon when we say we did. I believe we've been to the moon since.
You do.
But it would kind of was
Do you have
kind of
any evidence of that? Because I haven't heard that one floated around.
well. See, I don't know. I go back and forth on it because my biggest things about it are we JFK said we're going to be going to the moon before the end of his presidency,
right?
Which we never got to see, and we just happened to get it on the first try at the close to the end of his timeline
with a computer on board that has 1/10 of the power of this smartphone right here.
Yeah, and we got it all pretty much down the line. And I think it was like a week or two before the launch, Neil Armstrong was messing around training with the packs that go around and everything, and had to eject because they hadn't figured it out right, and it crashed and burned, and everything. And I was like, so we went from that to all of a sudden, hey, we got it right down the line, and now we don't know how to get to the moon.
Yeah. Well, there's just been a lot of questions about that. Like, how did you handle that Van Allen radiation belt, which is 40,000 miles wide?
Right.
How did you handle that? Why didn't you burn up in radiation or whatever?
Right.
I've heard other people say there's absolutely no way that a rocket that size would have the fuel that it would take to get to the moon and back.
Right.
And he said, he just takes a short burst and it pushes you in the right direction. It actually takes more than that.
Right.
And I mean, there's little directional things that keep you on course and all that, but it takes a lot of fuel to get up to the speed that's required to get to where you're going. And what you're saying is the amazing, exact perfection of it. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Now, I have seen a picture, I think, taken from by the Chinese. We have, satellites orbiting the moon.
Right.
And they can take pictures of everything on the ground. And I have seen a picture of our lunar lander on the ground, which doesn't mean that didn't happen. It just doesn't mean there were men in it.
Right.
And it's just the platform, because the top part took off, and that was another one. As far as that thing taking off and getting back to the command module and the docking and the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mind-blowing that happened in 1969.
And see, the biggest thing that gets me, and that's why I don't know, I kind of lean on maybe we've been to the moon since then. At one of those missions actually was the true successful one. But the whole thing that we really don't have a clue of how to get to the moon now, and that we did so many missions in the 19.
Nothing but low Earth orbit since the moon shots.
Yeah.
Nothing but low Earth orbit.
Yeah, and they say we don't have the technology or the right things to get to the moon now and everything. I'm just like, but you did it all those times back then.
And the last 3 moon shots were canceled.
Yeah.
Another weird question mark there.
Right.
So what that was all about.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of crazy. I mean,
everybody wants to know why the moon footage looks so bad.
Right.
And all the original videos, tapes and all that, they're all gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. They disappeared.
That's crazy.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
None of that survived.
Yeah.
None of the data survived. Nothing. Which again, that's another thing. What?
Right.
Yeah. Very odd.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. Listen, I don't want to belabor this because I know you need to get out of here. And if you need to take off, go ahead and I'll just wrap this whole thing up because I know you got some place you got to be.
Yeah, I'm a busy, wanted guy.
You're going to be good for next week?
As far as it looks like.
Okay.
I stay in kind of flux at the moment.
Yeah. How's the band doing? The band have any gigs coming up? Anything for the public?
Not right now. Usually January and February and March are usually the really down months of the year.
Sure.
And everything. We'll probably start getting together again back in the next couple of weeks and kind of getting some new songs written. We got some ideas.
Very cool.
And maybe throw a couple on a CD. We'll see.
Very good. Very good.
Hey, well, I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next Monday.
Thank you, sir, and we'll see you next time. And everybody else, listen, I want to tell you that if, we talk a lot about our faith in Jesus. If you are someone who has never become a Christian and would like to become one, it's not very hard. There's a prayer that you pray. It's always fun to get on your knees, right? I can't do it because I've had knee replacements and all that stuff, but it's always good to just bow your head and close your eyes and talk to God and say that you say very few things you need to say to get right with God. And number one is, Father God, I know I'm a sinner. I know that I'm separated from you because of my own imperfection, my own decisions in life that have been ungodly, and now I regret those things, and I pray for your forgiveness. I know that you sent your Son, created a man out of your Son, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, to live his life, a perfect life on earth, in order to teach us the way, the law, and to actually take the blame on himself through the crucifixion, through an absolutely horrible, torturous death, took the blame on himself for all of our sins, all of our mistakes, all of our iniquity, and that all we had to do was believe and say, thank you, Lord, for that, and to go on and live now a life that is in line with the scriptures, with the gospels, and with the teachings of Jesus Christ. And you know what? He was killed for his teaching, but he rose again up out of that grave within 3 days and ascended to heaven to take his rightful place at the right hand of God. And we know, as Christians, we know that we will be in paradise because of our belief and our faith in Jesus Christ. And he himself said that no man can come to the Father except through me. So I'm taking him at his word. My life as a Christian has been not some sort of, cakewalk or anything like that. That's not what it's about. It's about believing and knowing that God is for us as long as we are committed to our faith in him. So if you want to do that, do it. If you need help with that, you can send me an email. I'm easy to reach. I'm at stanarthur@gmail.com. You can reach me at my email address and let me know who you are. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you watched today, and I hope that you hear our message and that you give it some serious thought about where you're going and where are you going to be in eternity. And my life now is one of being sure that I can take as many people to paradise with me as possible simply by sharing the Word of God, the promise of believing and understanding and going on now to not be the sinner that I was before. And I hope that you have ears to hear that, and I hope that you will make that decision on your own. Not talking about church. Get plugged in if that's your thing. Get plugged into a local church and find a body of believers. My faith is personal to me, and I cannot be shaken from that. It's always going to be that way for me. And I can't highly recommend enough to you that you do the same. Live for something. Don't fall for anything, but believe in the covenant of Jesus Christ. I thank you all for being here today. I hope that it was good for you. I'm just doing my little technical things here to make sure that we do everything we need to do. It's always fun when you like and subscribe on YouTube. Like the video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and of course there is the Stan Show page on Facebook. You can follow that, where we do this live every Monday. And appreciate you joining me here today. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.